Hey Instylers, so I told you guys that I was going to do a part 2 and a part 3 to the first video that I posted. First I posted the reason behind my son's name, and today I want to talk about my experience at the hospital. It was definitely an experience. I came to deliver. I finally went to do my hair today. I was feeling so ugly. Like, I don't know, like I wanted to do my hair the day that I went into labor. When my contractions started, I actually called my hairstylist, but she answered late. By the time she answered, like, yeah, come by, I was full on having contractions. And I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling that good. Forget about it. And I ended up going to deliver the baby that same day. What are the chances? Anyways, in my culture, when you deliver a child, you're supposed to wait, I think, 40 or 41 days to wash your hair. You can't walk barefoot. You have to cover your hair with a rag. You have to be very zen, which I agree with. There's a whole bunch of like rules and regulations, like parking meters. Like it's really crazy. So I didn't wash my hair in all that time, right? And I'm like, why am I even really doing this? Like, I don't believe in none of that stuff, number one. Number two, I didn't follow that with any of my other babies. So what's the point of doing it now? I'm like, child, listen, I pumped my boobs, daddy stayed with baby, and I went to do my hair real quick. And now baby is sleeping, and I'm so bored. And my whole family is out to the pool. Like, all the boys left to the pool, and then it's me and baby 7, and I have nothing to do. So I'm like, let me just make this video very quick. So I got to the hospital. So I left here and about 7 something, right? Which is, remember, I said everything is a coincidence. Everything kind of is surrounded around the number 7. And it's so interesting to me how that kind of played out. I just feel like this baby was supposed to be named 7, no matter what. You know, no matter whatever meaning I had behind it, even with no meaning, this was supposed to be his name because everything just played out that way, right? So I ended up calling the ambulance at about 7:40, 7:30 something, because I was like, I felt like things were changing, and I was like, I think I'm in labor. Mind you, my contractions were always 15 to 18 minutes apart, something like that, which is a big stretch. That's not like labor contractions, but I was in labor. Very weird. Anywho, so I called them because my fiance was not going to make it on time to pick me up. He was stuck in traffic in the city. I called my mom, you have to come because I think I'm in labor. And then I called the ambulance once she arrived. So I was going to leave by myself, but my mother-in-law got here. Thank God. Mother-in-law to save the day. So she ended up staying with the kids, and then my mom ended up leaving with me in the ambulance, and she stayed with me in the hospital until Babe made it to the hospital. Anywho, so I left here about 7:30 something. No, I called them about 7:30 something. I left here about 7:40 something because they were really quick. Then I get over there. The shift had just changed because the shift changed at 7 p.m. and at 7 a.m. Like, hello. I get there, they check me, and I'm 7 centimeters. Wow. So I'm like, oh, so I'm staying? Because it has so many false alarms with this pregnancy that I'm just like, yeah, whatever. This is just another one. My contractions were always bad regardless if it was Braxton Hicks or not. Just not as consistent. So she's like, yeah, you're staying. You're having, and I'm like, so I'm having this baby today? She's like, yeah, you're having this baby today. I'm like, yeah. I was, what, 38 weeks? Did I make it to 39? I'm not sure. I think I was 38 weeks. Cool. Because my due date still hasn't arrived. My original due date was July 26th. So fine, which is Tuesday coming up. So they check me, I'm 7 centimeters, and I'm like, you know, they start strapping me up, putting everything on me. I call Babe, I'm like, listen, this is happening. He's like, oh. So he has to make it to me. And I was just worried that he wasn't going to make it on time to watch the baby be born, you know, because everything was moving so quickly. So I'm very thirsty. I'm breastfeeding. So I get there and everything is really good. The nurse does have like a little bit of an attitude, a Caribbean nurse. She was very like, listen, I'm vulnerable right now and I'm in pain. Don't mess with me, because just don't do it. Because I'm not good when I'm not good, you know? So she gets me ready, you know, whatever. Then she's like asking me all the questions, my medical history, everything. Mind you, it's already in the system, because it's just like, this is the hospital that I come to. The clinic that I go to for my prenatal care is associated with this hospital, which is why I'm delivering in this hospital, you know, but whatever. They still want to ask you the same million and one questions. So I'm answering the questions and I'm in massive pain. And I'm just like, you know, like, this is not like the best time, but whatever, because I'm still very respectful and I'm just like, whatever. She's like, oh, you know, you shouldn't be turning. Don't tell me. What do you mean? Like, your body tells you what to do. What do you mean? Don't get on your side. I have to get on my side, because the contractions that I am having right now are telling me, are directing my body to get to the side. Okay. So I'm just like, whatever. I'm dismissing this lady. She's like, you have to have your mask on, this and that. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Mind you, is no one in the room but her, who I suppose is double vaccinated, boosted up, and she has a mask on and gloves. And then it's my mom and me. I'm good, sis. I don't need the mask right now, okay? Like, let me breathe through these contractions. Are you bugging? Are you kidding me? Fine. I'm telling you, like, the world, I don't know what the world has come to. So they have other nurses coming in and out, checking my my blood pressure, putting the butterflies in me, getting the IVs running, and doing all of that. You know, I have to go provide urine and all of that needs to be done. I'm a natural patient, so I, of course, refuse the epidural and any pain meds. And of course, I didn't need like Pitocin or any of that, because my labor was like this, you know. So even if it wasn't, I wasn't going to allow that either. Fine. We get to the point where one of the other nurses comes in and she's like, oh, she's like, oh, she tells the other nurse, oh, she has to get the COVID test. And I said, I said, I'm not getting the COVID test. And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, I'm not getting the COVID test. Like, that's what I mean. Like, that's what I mean. That's what I said. But you know what? Let's pretend that you didn't understand what I said. I'm not getting the COVID test. She's like, but you have to get the COVID test, because that is the rule of this hospital, and everybody has to get the COVID test, and you have to get the COVID test, and that's just what it is. And she's giving me like an attitude, like, you're gonna get it in point blank period, like, it's not your choice. Let me tell you something. If it's one thing about me, you're gonna respect me, or you're gonna come correct. I don't care who you are. You don't have to like me. It does not matter. You're going to come correct to me. Because if you think that telling me that I'm going to do something, or forcing me, or think that you can force me to do something, you got another thing coming. You have another thing coming, because I work well when people are nice, when they ask politely, when they do things like that. When you think that you have the right to make me, or to tell me, or to command me, we're gonna have a problem, sis. Not me. So I told her I'm not gonna get it. She goes to the manager. She goes to the hospital manager, or the floor manager, or whatever it is. And then she comes back in and she's like, well, I spoke to the manager and you have no choice. Like, you have to get a COVID test. And I'm like, well, okay. So then you can either test my spit or my blood. Yeah, we don't do it like that in this hospital. I'm like, okay. Mind you, I'm in labor. And when I tell you my labor was hard body, that is an understatement to what those contractions were. Those contractions, ooh, child, I'm still traumatized. Like, my womb is still be crying sometimes. So I'm like, okay, so how about if you put the swab right in the tip of my nose? Because all you need to do is get basically like lubrication from your nose or whatnot, right? She's like, yeah, we don't do it like that. No, because I said, because what you're not going to do is put anything up all the way up to my brain. And she's like, yeah, we don't do it like that, because that is not doing it correctly. We have to put it all the way up. And I said, so you know what? I'm not getting it done. I'm not getting it done, and that's the end of the conversation, because I'm already getting agitated because that's it. Like, I refuse it. She's like, if you refuse it, then we're going to have to treat you like a COVID patient. No. Then they get the doctor. The doctor that's going to deliver my baby. And the doctor's tight. Like, no, the nurse is tight too, but the doctor's tight. So she's like, oh, well, before you came to this hospital, you already knew what the rules were of the hospital, what protocol was, and that is what we have to do. Like, if you refuse to do it, now we're going to have to, like, gear up as if you're a COVID patient. And I'm like, but I don't have COVID. And she's like, but that's how we're going to have to treat you. So I'm like, go ahead. So then they're so pissed off that they have to add all these extra layers of everything to protect themselves. Mind you, I've been in this room how long with you guys, and there have been no extra protection. There has been no extra protection. But suddenly, now that I refuse the test, now there has to be extra protection. Okay. Before they extra protect themselves, she tries one more time. And you know what this woman said? Let me tell you something. If it's one thing I don't play about, is myself and my family. Period. Especially my family. Period. This woman said, well, when the baby is born, we're going to have to take the baby to the NICU because you refuse to take the test. And I said, what you're not going to do is take my child anywhere. My child will not leave this room. My child will not leave my supervision at any point. From the moment he is born to the moment that I leave this hospital. My mom is sitting there, like, my mom is very non-confrontational. So she's just like, oh my God, don't look for this girl's tongue. Like, are you bugging? You're going to take my kid where? You're not moving my kid from my side. My child is coming from my hoo-ha straight into my arms, straight into wherever bassinet, whatever he's sleeping in, right next to my bed. And at every given moment while I'm in this hospital, whether I'm transferred to the bathroom, to wherever, my child will be next to me, and that is what it is. Are you bugging? You think you're gonna use that scare tactic with me and threaten me with my child that came from inside of me? Are you? Man, listen, that was the one thing that wired me up like nothing else. And I said, I need to have this baby. Get this doctor. Come and check me. Every so often I was like, come and check me. Come and check me. I feel like I dilated more. Like, are you crazy? I would have walked out that hospital right after giving birth. Like, nuh-uh, not my kids. Do not play with my kids. Do not play with my kids. I am Mama Bear for real. Cool. We have the baby. Oh, no, wait. So they checked me, and I went from like centimeters, I don't know if it was 8 or 9 or 9 something, to straight ready to push. Like, I went, like, I skipped. It happened that fast. And luckily, like, Babe had like a little while there already. So, you know, he was amazing. When I tell you Babe was amazing, I cannot... Okay, I say I could not have done it without him, but of course I could have done it without him, because regardless, when you're in labor, you're going to do it. With somebody, without somebody, you're going to do it. But listen, I cannot imagine myself having done this without him. He was the most amazing support. He's the only person that I needed in this room. I'm telling you, like, I didn't even need the doctor. He could have delivered my child. Like, he was so good. Doula who? Doula who? Babe was the best doula that I can have, period. He was amazing. Big ups to Babe. Big ups to Babe. Big ups to Babe. He was so amazing. This experience was the best experience because of him. So the doctor, she's like, okay, so whatever you're ready to push, you can push. Mind you, she's not directing me to do anything. They're so mad. Her and the nurse are so mad that I'm this, you know, this patient who is just so, you know, unruly, right? That she's not even telling me what to do. So she's like, whenever you're ready to push, you can push. So I'm like, no, she said, whenever you get a contraction, you can push. And I said, okay, I got a contraction. I go to push, nothing. She said, we're going to do sets of 2. So we did, well, I'll get into that. So we're gonna do sets of 2. So 2 pushes, stop, breathe, take a break. When another contraction comes, push again. Cool. So we did it. I did it the first time. Sorry, I keep my curtains are sheer, so I keep looking out the window every time a car passes by. Anywho, so I push, nothing. And I'm like, this child is not gonna play with me, that he's not gonna try to come out after I feel him basically in between my legs from like 7 months, you know? So nothing. The second push, nothing. I'm like, wow. And babe is like, babe, you have to give it your all. Like, you have to push. Mind you, I haven't been in this predicament in so many years that it's not that you forget, but it's, you kind of forget. You know, like you're not in the, who knows what moment you're in. You could be in the moment, you might not be in the moment, like who knows. They already riled me up with this whole COVID thing, and like I wasn't mentally where I was supposed to be at the moment, but after like the second term, I was ready. You know, like the first 2 pushes, they were weak. They was like whatever, like I was just like, you know what, whatever. But the second round, it was like, okay, you know, things are happening, I could feel it, you know. But she wasn't telling me anything. She said you could just push whenever you get a contraction. She was not telling me, oh, the baby's crowning or this or that. You know, that they kind of like tell you what's going on as it's going on, because obviously you don't know. So in the midst of all of this, I tell babe, give her the birth plan. Give her the birth plan. So he gives her the paper. Give her the birth plan. Give her the birth plan, because I had a birth plan for my delivery. And so he gives her so he puts the paper on whatever. There was some like something there so he can lay the papers down. And she'd be like, what makes you think that I want to look at your birth plan when you didn't even comply with our rules for this hospital? I was like, babe, and babe is like, here, like, read it. And I'm like, babe, forget it. We're having this baby. Forget it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So, you know, whatever. So I'm pushing, you know, whatever. On the third one, it was like, okay, you know, mind you, her or the nurse, they're just there in my hoo-ha, but they're not saying nothing. They're just like, let your body tell you when, right? So, in the 4th push, right? No, the fourth set, right? I was ready to go for the first push, right? So I inhale and I'm like, I'm coming. And I was about to give up because they're not telling me nothing. They're not directing me. And babe is like, babe, his head is right there. Don't stop. And I'm like, and whew, he came out. It was amazing. It was a beautiful moment. It was a beautiful experience. It was great. And 7 was born at the 7th push. So it was 4 sets, 2, 4, 6, 2, 2, 2, right? 2, 4, 6, and then the 7th push, 7 was born. How amazing. He was born on July 16, 10 days before his original due date, July 26. 7 was supposed to be a Leo, but he ended up being a Cancer. How toxic. So I am so excited. I'm so happy to be a mom all over again. You know, it does get overwhelming and it's stressful at times, and it's, you know, it's just a lot. But the one thing that I've always wanted to be is a mom, and the more the merrier. Like, I swear, if I was younger, you know, but pregnancy, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do that again. That was not it. That was not it. But he came out perfect. He came out extremely healthy. Even though I went through everything that I went through, and I had to drink all these medication, and I had to, like, no, every single thing that I went through was totally worth it, because my son came out perfect. And the first thing I did was thank God as soon as that child came out. Thank you. I am, like, forever grateful. That is the first thing before anything, before I even looked at my kid, you know. So yeah, that was my experience. Oh no, wait a minute, I forgot that I haven't left. I've only delivered the baby. So I'm like, babe, make sure that you keep your eyes on the baby at all time. I'm over here, like, I don't care who's in the room. Like, that's it. My kid is born. This is my kid, right? So make sure that you keep your eyes on the baby at all times. I don't want any ointment in his eyes. I don't want anything on the baby. Just make sure that you are with the baby. Like, forget about me. Go. So I'm over here, I'm birthing my placenta. And when I'm birthing my placenta, she's not telling me what to do either. She's kind of letting my body, like, kind of push it out on its own. And in my head, I'm like, wow, this lady is really not helping me. But at the same time, I guess it was the best, because I didn't rip, I didn't tear, I didn't, you know, like, I didn't need stitches. Like, everything went natural. Everything came out natural. And it was, honestly, giving birth to the placenta with this delivery was the best placenta birthing that I have done in all my birth experiences. Like, I remember birthing the placenta being the most painful thing, and them shoving their hands in there. Like, I didn't go through any of that. It was amazing. It was so smooth and, like, natural and beautiful. Why do you girls get epidural? No judgment. Anywho, so oh, sorry, I just moved my camera. Anywho, so now we're there, and she's like, oh, you know, you have to have your masks on. And the nurse, we're back to the nurse, because the doctor delivers us, she's out of there, right? I'm like, babe, so my man is about to start arguing with this lady, and I'm like, babe, forget about it. We just had a baby. Dub that. You know, like, we're not gonna give this, and we are not about to give this energy to this woman when one of the most beautiful things just happened to us. Whatever. So she's like, you know, we're gonna move you to another room where you're isolated. You know, she has to, like, make sure that I understand that I'm this COVID patient. So I'm like, okay, no problem. Better for me, right? Like, she's like, she's telling me, you cannot leave this room. At the moment that you leave this room, you are not allowed to enter back, period. So if you have to go downstairs to your car, if you have to, whatever it is, once you leave this room, you will not be able to come back into this unit because I'm COVID. So, so babe stayed the night with me. He starved. Like, we literally shared half of a tuna sandwich. They gave us one tuna sandwich and we shared half with each other. He was so hungry because he hadn't ate that day. He went straight to the delivery room because it was kind of like rushed, you know. I felt so bad for him, but nonetheless, we're new parents all over again, and we're so in love with baby 7. And then he left the next day. He was like, you know, like, I understand he had to shower. I understand he had to eat. I understand all of that, you know. So I'm like, I'll be home in a day. It doesn't matter. So once he left, you know, he did try to come back, and they said no. They did not allow him back in. I'm like, whatever. And then, like, to discharge me, it was a whole other process, because it's like, just let me go. Like, there's nothing wrong. I understand if I have a health concern, or the baby does, or whatnot, then I would understand that. But, like, everything is smooth, and they were just making things, like, complex for me. So anywho, so they moved me to the other room, and then I had asked for my placenta as I was birthing my placenta. They didn't give me my placenta when they moved me to the other room. So I had to wait for my placenta a few hours. It was really annoying. And I had to wait for my placenta. They finally brought my placenta in. And they sent another doctor in to harass me, a pediatrician, to harass me about the vitamin K shot. Oh, your baby should get the vitamin K because you don't want to risk your baby dying. Why is it the same thing when I had the anemia scare? They're like, you know, we don't want you to hemorrhage during birth. We don't want you to bleed out and possibly die. Mind you, at this point, I'm super stressed. I'm super depressed. I'm like, oh my God, I could potentially die. This and that. You know, I started taking iron pills. I started drinking beet juice. I got my numbers to the point where they needed to be before labor. I did not hemorrhage. I did not bleed. I bled the normal. After a day and a half, I was not bleeding anymore. I'm telling you, everything was so smooth sailing, but the fear tactic that they use is really annoying. So when it comes to the vitamin K, they're like, oh, he's like, oh, the baby needs the vitamin K. Everybody gets it. Everybody is not me. I respect everybody, but you're going to have to respect me too. You see, if you're watching this video and you're pro-vaccination, that is good for you. Bravo. I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything to say because I don't care. That's your business. I'm anti-vax. And that's my business, so I don't care for you to say anything. You understand? Your opinion, your input is not needed. I am not asking for it. I don't care. You have to learn to respect people for who they are, for what they believe, whether it's something that you agree with or not, as long as they respect you the same way back. So I'm like, no, he's using this fear tactic on me and whatnot. And I'm just like, for a moment I did think about it, because I'm not gonna say no. Like, we are vulnerable beings, especially in situations like that. And when it comes to being a parent, we don't want to put our kids at risk of anything. And for them to kind of tell you, like, because of you, something can happen with your child because of the decision that you make, that is something heavy to carry on you. So it's just like, damn, should I put it on him? Should I give him the vitamin K? So he's like, I'm not gonna push you to get any vaccines. I know you're anti-vax, but that one, I really, really, really recommend that you do it. And this doctor was very like antsy and pacing back and forth, and very like, it was really weird. He made me very uncomfortable. And I was just like, you know what? Give me a few hours to think about it. I spoke to Babe. Baby's like, it's a dub. This baby is leaving. This baby is leaving out of this hospital unvaccinated, with nothing. So when he did come back, I'm like, we're not gonna do it. I'm not interested. I'm going to refuse it. Are you sure? Because this and this and this and this and this can happen. I said, you know what? Can I have the insert to the vaccine? He's like, what do you want that for? And I was like, well, because I want to see the black box warning on it. And he was like, well, everything has a risk. There's a risk of everything in everything. And I said, exactly. So if there's a risk of everything, if there's a risk of my child dying from getting the vitamin K vaccine, let's say, right? And there's a risk of my child dying from not getting it, let me not get the vaccine. Why are you harassing me? You understand? Like, now my kid might die because he just got a shot. Like, leave me alone. Just let it be. The point is, he left. He was very upset about that. He was very like nasty. Like, they were nasty in the sense where, like, if you refused anything that they wanted you to do or wanted to mandate you to do, it was just like, it went from being very nice, hello patient, to like, forget that patient, whatever. So that happened, and then it was the last day, and they were going to let me leave at midnight the next day after I delivered, because I didn't need to be there more than 24 hours. But they're like, oh, the pediatrician does want to see the baby in the morning, so you can leave first thing in the morning. Once the pediatrician sees the results for the bilirubin and, like every other exam that the baby had, which he passed everything. Amen. Thanks to the Lord. I'm like, you know what? Fine, whatever. So I stayed for the second day, like I did the 2 days. And the doctor didn't come till like the afternoon. I was so upset because I wanted to get out of there. I was hungry. I wanted to shower. I wanted to come to my kids. Like, I wanted to bring the baby home. So yeah, like, that was my whole like birthing experience at the hospital. Would I recommend the hospital? Absolutely, I would recommend the hospital. The doctor that delivered my baby, she was excellent, with the exception that she was being a little like standoffish because I refused the shot. But the way that I delivered my child, there was no negligence there. It was great. It was great. So I cannot say she didn't hurt me. She didn't shove aggressively. She didn't, nothing. Like, everything was perfect. So I can't really criticize her job. Like, she is good at what she does. Period. And a lot of the doctors I have seen at the ER from the times that I had been at the ER, and they were also very great. So if I had to recommend delivering at the hospital, I would recommend delivering at the hospital. Did I like the way that they treated me because I refused something that I am not in agreement with? I did not like that, but it is what it is. It is what it is. You can't win them all, right? So this was my birthing experience. Well, this was my experience at that hospital. And yeah, I did send to make my my placenta into pills to encapsulate them. Here's what it looks like. Super cool. I haven't started them because they said I think it says start like 6 days after or whatnot, so I think I can start like tomorrow or whatnot. And the place where I got it done was www.NewJerseyPlacenta.com. It was 160 capsules. This is, I'm going to write their information down below. I also got a tincture. And this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see the inside of it. Can you see? I think that's a piece of my placenta in there. So yeah, super cool. So I have that. And then they also made like a balm from the placenta. And this is, doesn't really have a smell. This is more like for like mosquito bites, maybe acne, you know, like whatever you can put balm on. And then I guess this is the remainder of the umbilical cord. They made it into a little heart. How cool, right? How beautiful. I love that I was able to experience this time around, because I was never able to do that with one of my children. I did do the cord blood banking, but in order to have done that with this pregnancy, I had to plan prior, and I did not. So the girl who prepares it, again, I'm going to post all her information down below. Her name is Jamie Davidson. Can y'all see? I don't know, I think it's a little blurry. Anyways, Jamie Davidson, doula and placenta encapsulator. So she's a doula. And all her information is down below. Her phone number, email, website, and Instagram. So I'm going to be posting that all in the description. A thank you card. And then she has the dosage instructions on how to start taking the capsules using the tincture, etc. And if you have any questions, then you can obviously reach out to her, which again, I'm going to put down in the description. So she picked up the placenta rather quickly, which is amazing. And this was also delivered to me rather quickly, which was amazing, meaning that she got straight to it. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I'll let you guys know how it goes once I start taking them, because I know you have to start taking a higher dosage and then lowering it. So let's see how that goes. I'm very excited to start that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I would love if you guys subscribe, like, share, and comment. You know, if you have any questions, leave them down below. You can also follow my Instagram at Bea.instyle. DM me. And if you need to email me for any business inquiries, it's bea.instyle@gmail.com. Last but not least, if you are interested in gifting me or the baby anything, you can either tap the link on my bio on my Instagram and go to my registry, or you can simply send whatever you would like over to Bea.instyle, P.O.Box 220, Palisades Park, New Jersey 07650. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you, the ones who are always here. I really appreciate you if you're new here. And you already know, I heart you.